And welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to the Shaping of a Man. It has been a minute. It's probably been like at least a month. Yeah, it's probably been a month actually, because I dropped the last video on December, and I'm actually recording this closer to the date where I'm supposed to upload than I would like. I've just been really busy. Like I've been in it. Like I've been trying to figure things out. Also, on top of that, you're gonna see me looking here because I got the setup again, trying to watch this, and I have a trade running on GJ, which this month has been chaotic on trading, and it's been a hassle. I thought it would be better coming into January, but I'm starting to realize that the market needs to stabilize just before we go into this. But anyways, besides that, y'all, hopefully you guys have been doing well. Hopefully everything's been going good. We are in the start of a new year, which means a lot of people are starting to do new goals, new aspirations, whatever it may be, trying to reach different things. So it's just been a really busy season. We're working on some new stuff for the clothing brand. I'm actually planning on doing a really big annual release, especially for everyone who's been supporting and asking questions and everything. And not even just that, even if you haven't bought anything, still supporting, sharing, and finding interest in it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that this next collection is really well worth it. It's gonna be really cool pieces. I'm definitely gonna launch more than just a typical 5 pieces, 3 pieces, whatever. I'm planning to do something bigger. I'm hoping if everything goes well, it gives a variety of things for people to choose from. So it's gonna be a special one. It's gonna be a 1 year. I'll probably shut down the shop probably a month before the drop, that way to get everything ready as per usual, and kind of go from there. But if anything, hey, you guys can always go cop some of the Vertis that's on there right now. That stuff has been going pretty quick. The hoodies have just been flying like crazy. So, and again, I've now switched over just in case people, are asking questions. I don't fully keep anything on me. Only certain things I do keep on me, just because it's been a hassle trying to keep inventory here in my area, in my building, because I'm running out of space here. I can't keep all these boxes in my room. So everything now might take just a little bit longer to ship, but it's everything can be shipped direct to you from wherever I needed to, from my warehouse, all that good stuff. So yeah, and just again being transparent about it, y'all. I just want to say thank you again, seriously. So welcome back, y'all. Actually today I don't have a specific verse. It's more so a specific book, chapter, all these things, and maybe a story. So one of the biggest things I'm starting to find out is a lot of people right now currently love the whole new year, new me thing, all these things, and the things they want to try and accomplish with their goals. But I'm going to get right into this. I'm going to try and jump into this. I actually had to record this pod and go straight to teaching, so this is kind of where this is going to go. Still doing dry January, no alcohol. I haven't been having alcohol, so I'm actually having a double shot of espresso right now. Shout out to actually, oh my God, I'm having a blank here. Yeah, I'm having a blank here, y'all. But their coffee is amazing. If you ever have a chance and you're out anywhere down south, Locomotive. Wow. Shout out to Locomotive for their coffee and espresso. Great stuff, man. If you guys ever have a chance, Locomotive out in Geneseo. But before we get to this, jumping into this pod right away. If you guys have a Bible, if I always said this, hey, if you're a believer or non-believer, you're still welcome here. I use the good book as a reference for everyday lessons in my life and things that I'm learning. Again, in trying to translate that stuff into how I can apply it to everyday life and use it in my world. Now, again, if you are curious, I welcome you. If you don't believe, I still welcome you. If you're a doubter, I still welcome you. Hopefully that whatever it is that you're searching for, I hope you do find it. Just know that, hey, God has a good plan for you and he loves you. So we're going to go to Matthew, in the beginning of Matthew, and actually specifically Matthew 2. The story that everyone knows about Jesus coming and being born, right? I'm talking like baby Jesus here. You know what I mean? The reason why we celebrate Christmas, the reason why we're in these things, that is where I'm going off of. I'm going off of this story in this chapter about when God reveals to Joseph that, hey, we're in this moment right now, and I need you to know that there's going to be a new baby that's going to be born in the manger. So the whole story, if you don't know it, I suggest you look into it. Yes, the whole story is based on the baby being born, Jesus, and obviously they're searching for him to kill him, and he ends up fleeing, going to Egypt, and so on. But that's where I'm at. So one of the biggest things that I've come to notice out of this story, and again, no specific passage, but the whole story is revolved around, hey, God comes to Joseph, tells him in a dream, you're going to have this child. This child's going to be delivered through, Mary, who again is a virgin. And, it's a crazy story that he's telling them through his dreams. And not just that, it's like, okay, well, how is this going to happen? Herod is out there, and, he goes and sends people to go, hey, go look for the child. I want to be able to praise the child, this and that. And in reality, he's lying. So one of the biggest takeaways from this story is the fact that Jesus comes and he's sin. He's being sought after Herod. He wants to kill him, and of course, when something like this comes up into our real life, the main question I asked, and it's asked throughout the Bible multiple times, and so many people have different views on this, and it's what good can come from Nazareth, right? Nazareth was a town that was small, poverty, and of course, back then you see it, can anything good come from it? It wasn't one of the best places in the world, and as you see through and time again, for a baby to be born and successfully, go throughout the years in the Bible, as Jesus continues going into his adulthood, all the way to, where we know him at 33, where he, died for us. There's something that specifically stuck out to me quite a bit. And the way I'm going to reference it to me, and this is how it came to me, and I don't know whoever needs it, whoever this one applied to, well, hopefully this one's for you, right? So one of my main takeaways right here is a lot of the times in our life, we tend to doubt ourselves, right? Let's place that role in a position backwards. We tend to think because of our past or the things that we've done that nothing good can come from us, or maybe the town that we were raised in, like it was such a small town, there's no opportunity, right? Like I know for a fact that my town that I came from and I was born, not well, I wasn't born in, but I was raised in, right, just didn't have much. It was a small town. It wasn't known for a lot. Like it was really the reality of like, it's just boring, right? And so you don't have some of the same tools as other people. You don't have some of the same things as other individuals, maybe that grew up where maybe in a bigger city, a bigger environment, more opportunities placed around them. But the main thing that I'm here to tell you on this is the fact that we need to relate to this to what we're chasing in our dreams, our goals, and our aspirations. I know that with this new year starting, we all want to shout at the top of the mountain, like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going for, this is the dream I'm chasing. And I'm here to tell you that instantly a lot of these things don't need to be shared. There are certain things that I think we should in this season, because I'm guilty of it. Take a look at, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to accomplish. And that's great, because you need accountability. You need to put yourself out there in a spot, especially if it's a business. How are you going to get business? You need to put yourself out there, right? But there's certain things that I feel like God's telling you, like, hey, this is one of those things that we need to keep silent and under the wraps for now. And I know a lot of us want to, celebrate these wins, celebrate the, maybe the dreams, the goals and aspirations that have been coming to us, and we want to make things out of it. But again, when self-doubt decides to like creep in, especially when people that are around you who are good friends, supporters, family and friends are going to be the first ones to doubt you and tell you that it's ridiculous, it's cringy, it's not worth it, what are you going to get out of it, it doesn't pay, or how are you going to make money, this and that. That's all the things that are very much true. And again, doesn't mean we always need to listen, right? Because if we tend to listen to the people who knew us from our past, and it's kind of something that I wrote here, right? The correlation to this is the fact that many people see who we are in our past, and it exposes us to a fake future that others have placed on us due to the track record that we've presented. That was kind of a mouthful. I'm going to do it again. Yes? The correlation to this is the fact that many people see who we are in our past, and it exposes us to a fake future others place on us due to the track record that we've presented. And what I mean by this and how my correlation is the fact that that dream you have might be small right now. That dream and the vision of what you want to do and you want to accomplish might be small right now. Just as Jesus was small when he came through. It was silent. It was quiet. It was presented to Joseph in a dream, but it was small. It started off really small, right? And from a biblical standpoint, we see that Herod was after Jesus, even though he pretended to want to worship him. There's a lot of people in our circle, friends, family, that will pretend that they want to support you, that will pretend that, we're here for you. And not saying that it's always malicious, but some people don't want that for you. Couldn't tell you why. There's certain things that might come up in them, the insecurities, maybe their procrastination, or maybe genuinely it is just worry. It is just worry where how are you going to make this happen? We come from different views of life, different perspectives of life, and if you want to start a dream, and again, Maybe it's something that someone in your family has never really pursued because unfortunately their dream had to die at an early stage because of the reality of someone else putting the pressure on them, right? Because maybe it wasn't in their cards, or maybe it was the fact that, hey, I came up from a poverty-stricken area. I just don't think that's a good idea. You need to play it safe, get a job, do this, and do all these things. There's nothing wrong with it because those two things can be true. But when you sit here and you keep telling these ambitions and these dreams and these visions and that you're getting from God, and He's telling you, hey, I need you to do this, sometimes not sharing it is the best thing, right? Before it can even fully bloom, someone else might convince you to get out of it. And I'm sure we've all heard a message or some sort of something about this. But the thing right now where I wanted to get this out, because it is January. It is January, and people are going to be on this kick of doing new things. And after a month or two, your dream might not work. After 3 months, your dream might still not work. And honestly, even after a year, it still might not work. But that doesn't mean that it's not doing what it needs to do. Ultimately, the timing is going to be up to God, where it is that you need to get to and how you're going to get there, right? I don't have control over it. You don't have control over it. It's in His hands. And as long as you're progressing slowly, it is going to do what it needs to do. And now, if you continue to do this and you continue to tell people what it is that you're, trying to accomplish, when the Lord has said, hey, keep this in the wraps and keep it silent for now because I need this to move before Herod comes over and kills it, right? And again, trying to tie this in biblically so you can understand this, right? From what I've learned from this. And even though that passage is about Jesus, just so I'm clearing this out, yes, it is about Him being born and coming as a gift, right? But again, my correlation for something, how can I put this into my life right now, my season, is, hey, what I'm working on doesn't always need to be so loud. For now, this gift is just for you, and keep it under wraps. And one of the worst and most dangerous things that you can do is to announce something that God is still protecting, right? And I'm going to say that again. One of the most dangerous things that you can do is announce something that God is still protecting, because He's trying to prevent anything on the outside sources and forces or whatever it may be, individuals and even influence, to try and get in there and take that dream down, or take that project and take it down. Again, things that are sometimes between you and Him need to be kept between you and Him. I don't care if your mom, dad, spouse, wife, husband, whatever, brother, sister, your best friend is telling you not to, right? Because at the end of the day, if that dream is on your heart and you're fully pursuing it with everything, and you're like, my intention is good for this, and I feel like this is where God's pulling me to, and that weird feeling of why do I keep getting pulled back to? Why is my interest fully in this area? You need to sit down and question it and really ask, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this where I'm supposed to be going? Not because of so-and-so telling me, but because this is where I feel like it's been placed on me. It's the dream that's been, put on me. And again, we're in the season of New Year, New Me, this and that. And, last year, I think it was where I preached that when I first started it, it's like New Year, same me, right? Some things are going to take time, and you have to plant your seeds properly, or else it's never going to work. Don't quit on it instantly, okay? Moving on. Putting it this way, right? And this is one of the things where I think it trips up a lot of people, is opposition. Opposition often comes before recognition. Opposition often comes before recognition. And this can be very self-doubting, right? Because you're like, man, why do I keep getting these forces being put against me where it's like, the recognition isn't there. I'm putting these hours in behind. I'm putting on, I'm coming home tired. I'm waking up early. I really am putting, the time and effort into eating well, this and that. Or maybe the project isn't going well, or it's one thing after another. And you have to realize that, again, a lot of good things are going to take time. I had to put myself in that position of this pod doesn't make sense. There's days where, this pod isn't the best, or there's days where I'm like, man, I fell short of it. Even with this one, I'm like, man, is this one just too basic? Is it too generic, or is it really the reminder that we need to hear just again, because it's so generic that we overlook it, right? The generic thing of having a dream or this and that, and continuing to pursue it, and whether or not to expose it to the world. It sounds generic, but somewhere in me, I'm like, okay, if this is what I feel like He's telling me to do and say and speak, then I need to, right? Again, it doesn't feel like it's the best part. It doesn't feel like it's heavily biblical. It feels more motivated in me reassuring you that that's okay, right? I'm just going to listen to what has to happen and what I have to say through this. And again, it's a lot of the people who are in your circle who try to, say that they support you, but most of the time it doesn't feel like they really do, right? The people that support you should be there whenever you ask questions, should be there whenever you're feeling down. It should be, the people that are closest to you to give you that encouragement and really take interest in what you're asking, because at the end of the day, if what you're doing is important to them, they will get involved. They'll get engaged somehow, right? They're not just going to leave you hanging like nothing. And also, this should tell you something, that those who secretly are close to you and hope that you feel ultimately truly believe that you can make it. Does that kind of make sense? Like, I wrote this one down and I had to actually reverse wire it in a weird way. The people who are secretly praying on your downfall, there is a high probability chance that they actually think you're going to make it. Or else they wouldn't be doing that in the first place. Because if they really didn't doubt that you were going to make it, right, they wouldn't say anything. They would just let it happen. So you're telling me sometimes that you guys will let the person or the family member, friend, or someone close to you, or the stranger doubt you because they think you're going to make it more than you believe in yourself. Again, you can sit on that, you can think on that, you can really put that in a perspective of how you would like. The day that self-doubt kicks in, I need you to understand, you're not just going to let the person who's really looking for your downfall believe more in you than you do in yourself. Because there has to be a level of hatred for them to really want that. And also there has to be a level of belief that they think you're really going to make it. And they're like, man, I just really hope they don't. Right? So there's something in there that's sparking that fuel to give them that and be like, you know what? They're going to actually do what they said they did. So moving on, right? As we can see that a lot of high-driven individuals chase dreams that are really big, that sometimes you go full force into, and it's going to make people uncomfortable. People are not always going to understand it. And when you make people uncomfortable, a lot of weird things start to come out, right? The insecurities, or they'll start to say, lucky you, or I'm glad, it was cool, it happened overnight. That's how usually it is, and that's not it. Like, there's so many days where I looking at these charts right now, or even looking at this trade, it's not wanting to do what it should be doing. It's been playing games. But I have to realize how many nights I've cried, how many nights of frustration, how many nights I've put into learning, how many nights I've put into learning economics, whatever it may be. Even with the clothing brand of this pod, I've got to literally do this, go teach, come back, upload it, edit, clip it, do this, and it's like, man, this is a lot of work, right? But they don't get to see the back end of that. They just get to see it be done, and that's it, right? And it's really not up to them to see the back end, right? It's up to you to just be genuine about what you're doing, and they'll see it through your work, the genuineness, right? But when you're doing this for the people who are watching you and see it from the negative side, it's going to make people uncomfortable, right? Now, now we know that Jesus came in a silent night, right? And in today's world, we live in a place where everything has to be out loud. Everything has to be overly shared. Everything has to be here, right? Social media is this. What are you doing today? You hear it. If it's not on the gram, did it really happen? If you didn't take a picture, did it really happen? And it's like we've lost the privacy of trying to sometimes contain certain things that need to be silent. Certain things don't always need to be loud. It's like I said in the beginning. Certain things just need to be incubated, right? They need to take their time. Sometimes they need to, don't put things out there so fast. Really sit back and think on it. I am a doer and a mover, and I'm going to do things instantly without even thinking. And I have to remind myself, just as much as my partner and anyone else has to remind me sometimes, like, hey, just take a step back, think on it before you start going out there full out into it. And then I have to be able to game plan and reassure myself, like, wait a second, yes, this is what God's calling me to do, but at the same time, I can't have anyone taint this. I can't have anyone damage this, because it is still an infant and it is still growing. Okay. This is one of the ones that kind of was crazy to me. So not only did God appear to Joseph and say, well, in a dream, and say, hey, you are going to have a child. This child is going to be born of a virgin. That alone doesn't make sense. And you're going to have to trust me on this. The level of trust that he had to have to say, you know what, he is right. This doesn't make sense right now. The level of trust for a man to be like, she's pregnant, but that doesn't make sense. But this is what's going to be born out of it. They had to take obedience, they had to take trust, and they had to take some sort of humbleness to be like, you know what, God, okay, you're right. I need to be silent. I need to be focused, and I need to be focused on this dream that you've given me. And I just need to trust it, even when it doesn't make sense. God, you want me to start this business? I don't have the income. I don't have the loan. My credit score is this, or I don't have these things. But I got to trust it. It can be the most ridiculous thing in the world. But your obedience is truly what's going to be able to show the fact of whether you trust him or not. And obedience into trust will equal the outcome of the fruits that you're looking for. I know it's easy, and I know it's just when you say it, right? Because I put myself there. I'm like, hey, it sounds easy, but in the moment I'm like, God, it doesn't make sense. Like, God, you want me to do this? God, you want me to have this? But how am I going to do that? I don't have the tools. I don't have the right things. If he's telling you, just start with what you have. And we've talked about this before, right? Now, coming to an end, because this one's not going to be super long. I tend to keep the ones by myself a little shorter here, right? There was nothing impressive about where he was born. He was born in a manger. There's animals, hay, I'm assuming maybe waste from those animals, right? It probably was a messy place. But that messy place ended up making one of the biggest miracles of the world, right? It was a place where Jesus came and was born. And if in a messy place like that, he can be born, imagine what kind of messy place that you can be in, that he can make things be born out of. If he can be born in such a messy place, what can he do for you in that messy place you're in? What dreams can he come true? What dreams can you bring up from that area? And I didn't even write this down. I just kind of hit me here. If you allow him to trust, if you give him the trust and you allow him to come in the place that you're in that's messy, that doesn't make sense, the tools aren't there, I can only imagine what he's willing to do with those things that you have around you. If you were to take the first step in obedience and say, I trust you blindly. In my dreams, and if he's asking you to keep it silent, because that will make a better story and testimony at the end of the run, when you do make it. And often people are going to judge you for the things that you do, right? That's obvious. But there does come a point you've got to turn around and be like, yeah, this is it. This is where I make the move and I'm going forward with it. Because at the end of the day, they're going to judge you for the past things that you've brought and who they know you as. That person from the small town, the person from this or this or that. And I was guilty of it for many years, right? But if you just listen, and sometimes you stay silent, and you just go forward in your dream, I can only imagine what's going to come out of it. And with this being said, this is kind of where I leave you, right? I don't have much more for this one. This one was generic. This one wasn't fancy. It wasn't over the top. And I don't know how many adults, I'm 33, about to be 33 again, right? But I wonder how many adults that are older than me and some that are younger than me are letting their dreams get crushed because they think it's too late. Or maybe sometimes under the circumstances it is too late and things would be harder. And how many people would say, I wish I could go back and redo this, or I wish I could go back and maybe try and attempt at this, right? I just wonder how many times they say that to themselves in a day. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. I know that a lot of people don't want to do that, so I encourage you that if you take this word and you listen to it, whatever it may be, this pod, this information, this thing that I'm fueling you with, I hope that you take it somewhere and you sit back on it and you realize, man, I should pursue that dream. And sometimes that dream is going to feel small, and sometimes I can't tell anyone about it because the judgment of it will make me fall because of my own insecurity. But on the other hand, you have someone next to you. You have a God who can make things out of very, very small things. And you can tell that He loves you from the fact that He gave you that dream that seems impossible, that He can make possible. And the biggest thing is going to be your obedience and trust, because just like Joseph didn't move to Egypt until the angel appeared to him and he said, move. In those moments, I need you to be able to be so silent and sit in those moments to hear what He's telling you before you miss the step that you're supposed to be taking. So, that's it, y'all. That is where I'm going to leave you with this one. I'm hoping that whoever finds this, and if you see this, let me know. I'm always so interested. And there's a lot of people who come up to me and they acknowledge it. There's a lot of people who say, hey, it was really helpful. There's a lot of people, it does do me good. It encourages me as well. Right? And especially when it's something like this where it's like, man, this is generic, you can hear this wherever. And you're right. The timing is good because this is just a reminder, because now we're at the end of January where people tend to fall off that dream because they're on this high kick. But I'm here to tell you, hey, this time around, keep going. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by at The Shaping of a Man. And I just hope that this was a reminder of something to give you. And if you're wondering where you can get the clothing brand, you can go to mightyandvictorious.com and you can get something from there. And again, I will see you guys next time. And I do have someone coming on for next time.